There's been a trend recently that I wanted to explore the origins and the possible near destruction of with you. Recently, I started a new job, and like what can happen because of old jobs, I had a 401k I had to roll over to my financial advisor. No plugs here in case you were wondering. This is not a sponsored video. But one of the services that a major investment firm began offering is in cryptocurrency. Most people have probably heard of cryptocurrency by this point, but don't exactly know what it is or how it even works. That's understandable, especially since it's not necessarily the easiest thing to wrap your head around. But I wanted to take the time to share exactly what crypto is and how it actually works. A big reason I'm doing this video on crypto is because while writing another one on the Silk Road, I felt that my section in the film on cryptocurrency was probably too much information for a single film, and that it really deserved its own dedicated video. So, what is cryptocurrency? The short answer is it's a type of currency used to pay for goods and services. That's the short answer. But how does crypto actually work as money? Let's go back a few years to one of the first real-world uses of crypto to purchase an item. On May 22, 2010, Laszlo Haniaks was craving some pizza for dinner. But what would have just been some guy ordering a couple of pizzas turned into a historic event. Haniaks had actually acquired a new cryptocurrency called Bitcoin, 10,000 Bitcoins to be precise. On that day, one Bitcoin was only worth fractions of a penny. 10,000 Bitcoins at that time were worth about 25 American dollars. Haniaks went online and offered to pay someone, anyone really, those same 10,000 Bitcoins in exchange for 2 pizzas. A man accepted Haniaks' offer, and soon 2 Papa John's pizzas arrived at Haniaks' home. Haniaks kept his end of the bargain and paid the man 10,000 Bitcoins. In May of 2022, a single Bitcoin was worth a little over 30,000 American dollars, which would make 10,000 Bitcoins worth just a little over $306 million. Yes, million. $306 million. But how does Bitcoin even work? Bitcoin is essentially just currency in electronic form. There are numerous cryptocurrencies that use similar methods as Bitcoin to hold their quote value, but Bitcoin was the first, and its origins began on August 18, 2008, when the website bitcoin.org was registered. A couple months later in October, a paper was published explaining what Bitcoin is and how cryptocurrency works. For the sake of full disclosure, I actually don't invest in cryptocurrency, like at all. That probably seems like an anomaly. A guy big on tech not investing in cryptocurrency? Mind blown, right? But here's why. Since cryptocurrency in general started popping up in conversation, call me skeptical, but I've never really trusted it. The main reason is because the initial investment wasn't started with any tangible item of value, like gold. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin work like this. Let's say I'm hosting a party. At this party, there's a cooler filled with drinks. Let's say the drinks cost $1 to those at the party. The record of who gets what drink and when is kept in ledgers maintained by multiple people who are all observing who and when gets a drink out of the cooler. Those same people keeping the ledgers are rewarded with drinks themselves. They just have to mark it down in those same ledgers. Even if one of the note takers misses a drink being taken out, the other note takers will update him on the exchange. That way, all their notebooks have an identical record of what happened. That's cryptocurrency in a nutshell. This practice is called blockchain, and overall, it's a brilliant concept that eventually will have great applications in the future. Blockchain works by providing different blocks created in chronological order. Each new block contains the contents of the previous block, as well as a timestamp and some transaction details. It's these blocks that numerous people are rewarded for keeping ledgers for. Because all data of the previous block is included in any new block, that data prevents what's called double spending. Like I said, the concept is actually quite a brilliant idea. However, my problem with cryptocurrency is that all of them, every single one of them, aren't built on anything. Think of it like a Ponzi scheme, but at least a Ponzi scheme is usually started with real, actual money. Some investors give a guy a lot of money on the promise of 20% returns. and the guy delivers. But eventually, the pyramid collapses. And unlike a Ponzi scheme, cryptocurrency was never started with anything tangible, so its value is highly questionable. Those who are praising cryptocurrency and trying to get you to invest also all have invested in it themselves, which is exactly how a Ponzi scheme works. The more people who invest, the more valuable your investment becomes. If you really want to know the true value of something, just ask someone who doesn't own a piece of it. For example, would buying stock in either IBM, Microsoft, or Amazon be a wise investment? In my opinion, yes, they would, because over the decades, those companies have all proven sustainability. But I don't own any stock in any of those companies, and if I do, it's in a 401k and I have no idea what's really in there. So, Bearded Nerd, are you saying cryptocurrency is just one giant Ponzi scheme? Well, not exactly. It's probably worse, because at least some of Bernie Madoff's victims got some of their money back. When the cryptocurrency bubble bursts, and it will eventually burst, people who have invested in it won't be able to recoup anything. What about all those investment firms that have added cryptocurrency to their investment options? You mean the same investment firms that created the housing market crash of 2008? What about them? Look, if you want to invest in cryptocurrency, be my guest. But when you lose everything and go broke when the bubble bursts, don't expect me to not say I told you so. And that's actually one of the biggest problems with what will be a crypto bubble burst. People who lost everything will be expecting a handout of some kind because of their bad investment choice, which is hypocritical because many people purchase crypto as a means to stay off the grid, since it's not regulated by any government. For the record, I'm not dismissing the idea of blockchain as a skeleton for currency, but that skeleton has got to be started with something real, not made up out of thin air. Now, call me a tree hugger, but one of the other issues I have with crypto at the moment is the environmental impact it has because of the mining needed to obtain it. Gathering all the information for how much energy cryptocurrency uses up in its mining operations is difficult, but it's being reported that with Bitcoin alone, it's consuming 91 terawatts of electricity annually. That's 7 times what Google uses worldwide. And this is just for Bitcoin. This does not include the numerous other cryptocurrencies being mined. The energy consumption for crypto is so bad that eventually it'll cost more to mine it than its quote value, if it even has real value. It's kind of like buying the latest energy efficient car, only to discover it pollutes the environment more than the traditional gas guzzlers do. Kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it? And after the crypto bubble bursts, not only are its investors left with nothing, but the environmental impact will be felt for years as well. In other words, invest at your own risk.